What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm going to be bringing you my review of the Ohio Riverjack. This one is a traditional pocket knives exclusive, and it is a QSP manufactured knife. What we'll be doing today is going through the specifications, size comparisons, thoughts and impressions, and if I have them, alternative recommendations. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So the Ohio Riverjack has a 2.95 inch M390 blade steel. The handle length is 3.75 inches and it is titanium, and in this instance it has a micarta inlay, so titanium bolstered. Overall length 6.68 inches and claim weight is 3 ounces. Let's go ahead and weigh this and see if it comes in at 3 ounces. 3.1, not too bad. 3.1, not too bad. Really close. That's a minor difference, nothing to be terribly concerned with. Let me go ahead and get the scale out of the way. And what we'll do next is go ahead, talk about size comparisons. First up, we're going to bring out the AD 20.5. As you can see, a sub 7-inch knife. It is definitely much smaller, very much looking like a pocket dropper. Next up, we'll bring out the Spyderco Shaman, very recognizable EDC also. So you can see it is smaller, but hopefully you're also seeing that it actually has a good amount of girth to it. And we'll jump into the ergos here in a little bit to talk about that some more. So next up, we're going to bring out the Benchmade Bug Out. Very recognizable EDC, but it's still bigger than the Ohio Riverjack. Next up, we're going to bring out the SIG K320 made by Hogue. If you're familiar with these two knives, hopefully this size reference is helping you with the size of the knife. Let's go ahead and get these out of the way. And next up, we'll bring out our budget knives. First up is going to be the Kubi KU321, also known as the Kubi Royal. Even at a sub 3-inch size knife, the Ohio Riverjack is still a little bit smaller, which with a slip joint is very much to be expected. Next up, we'll bring out the Buck 110, if you're familiar with that knife. Another traditional knife, very proven. It's been around a while, so hopefully this is helping you. Let's go ahead and do thickness profile so you can see just how thin or thick this pocket dropper is. We'll start with the Kubi since we have it here. So you can see the Kubi just a little bit thicker. So this one's a nice chunky little knife, which I'll jump into in just a minute. Let's do it up against the Demco AD 20.5. You can see the flat scales on the Demco keep it nice and thin, and then we'll do the contoured scales on the Bug Out, and you can see the Ohio Riverjack thicker even still. Now, I normally just stop there with the size references, but what I'd actually like to do at this point is just throw out a couple of other modern traditional knives that I think would be really helpful for size reference. So I'm saying modern traditional, but the first one is not necessarily modern traditional. The first one is actually going to be the Tactile Rockwell, and very close in size here, and I feel like I'm up a little bit, so I am going to adjust down just a tiny bit more, get you guys a slightly better angle now that we're dealing with some smaller knives. So the first one is the Rockwell. The Rockwell and the Bear from a length perspective are very similar as far as the length of the knife, but I wanted to do this so you could get an idea of the thickness. So you can see it is still a little bit thicker, but we're getting a little bit closer to what I feel like this knife is occupying as far as space. All right, I got two more quick little references. First is going to be another modern traditional. This is going to be the Finch Chernobyl Ant. This is also made by QSP, so another knife for size reference that I think really fits here for anyone that maybe has the smaller modern traditional knives. And then another Finch that I really like is going to be the 1934. Now, these styles are a little bit different. I have two flippers out here versus a slip joint, but I just wanted something that may be a little bit more popular or a little bit more circulated out in the industry for you to have as a reference. But I know that these are not necessarily two knives that are wildly popular And you could use the Bear, but I feel like the Rockwell really accomplishes that. The Bear is going to be much slimmer. And I no longer have my Best Man 2, but this is going to be even bigger still. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The Micarta here by QSP is done really nice. It has that snake skin type feel, just a little bit slicker, but still plenty grippy. I'm really surprised it hasn't started to patina yet, because I have been carrying this one a ton. Now, the titanium on the edge, on the ends feel very nice. They're very well chamfered, nice and thick. You do feel the hardware protruding up just a hair, but it's not uncomfortable. I am able, even though it is a slip joint, I'm able to get all 4 fingers on this block of a knife. So it really comfortable on hand, and it just cuts through. I've been using this to like get into like apples, food prep. Really, I haven't even done anything outside of opening a couple of boxes. I haven't torn it through any cardboard or anything like that, because these type of knives for me really aren't used for that in my rotation. These are primarily a secondary carry knife, and as a secondary carry knife, I usually use it for lighter tasks, to get into some stuff, to cut some string, maybe a zip tie here and there off of a package. Just to cut little chunks off of my apple to eat, just because it's fun, and I really don't want to spread my mouth open over the apple and try to bite into it, because it feels like it's just pulling my teeth away. So it's nice to be able to kind of just cut through the apple, get my slices off of there, pears, whatever. And the M390 is done really well. I probably needed to clean it up. I'm not quite sure what I used it on here recently, but you can really see the grind lines on this. It has a nice worn look to it. Again, going back to the comfort, it's a block, very easy to use. Because it's so thick, it's actually really easy to close one-handed after you've opened it. The pull strength on it definitely feels very strong. I know it says 7, but it almost feels like an 8, and that last pull is a 10. It operates on a stop pin. You can see that down in there, the stop pin hitting right here, right behind the sharpening choil. I don't know if you'll be able to tell where it hits, but the stop pin is where it lands on it, but it still has great walk and talk. So really good walk and talk. It's partially chamfered around the top, so it doesn't have any sharp edges, but it does, when you get to the very end, you can feel the edges, so it's not perfectly chamfered. I picked the spear point because I think it was a really good looking combination, and I really do like this one a lot. If the Bear had come with this type of thickness, it probably would have stayed in my inventory. I probably would not have switched. Now, with the pull strength here, you have really got to put, and I don't know if you can see it on my finger where it's turning white, but you really have to put some pressure to get past it. Right about where I'm at is where the breaking point is. Like, it's still giving some resistance, but the majority of the resistance gone. So you would really have to get to this point for it to break, to get into the finger too much. And I know traditionalists are going to say you just kind of pop it open like that. I'm not a huge slip joint guy. I like them. I like to use them. I think it's kind of nostalgic to really feel a knife that you have to pull open like that. It does take me back when I was younger. My stepfather was teaching me how to hunt. And, you know, they carried knives like this, case knives. They were mostly case knives and maybe some bucks with a lock back. But, you know, just anything for gaming. So these were really nice little knives, and it's a little bit of nostalgia for me. And this one's a great looking, functioning knife, and it came with a really good edge. QSP continues to really impress me with their build quality. The edge came nice. I don't know. I might put a little bit better of an edge on here. The edge that's on here is okay. A little uneven. It's a little bit thicker on this side. This is not a show side here. It's a little bit thicker on this side, it feels like, than it is on this side. I did have to strap mine out of the box. It was not like it was tearing a little bit through the paper as opposed to slicing through it. But, you know, a couple strops on the M390 feels really good now. And I will do a long-term update to let you know how this performs in the long term. I am going to be rotating this with the Rockwell as my companion carry a lot to make sure that I get plenty of use. I'm going to be conscious about grabbing it and using it like the Rockwell so that you guys can get that update. Very smooth and flush back through here. You cannot feel any variance whatsoever. Even with the micarta, you can feel it rubbing against the finger, like you can tell the change in texture, but you really can't feel it. It's nice and smooth, really well done. This is just an awesome little nice knife at a great price. If you think about all that you're getting titanium with the micarta overlay, M390, really good walk and talk, nice ergonomics, really large hand friendly considering that it's a pocket dropper. All of that for under 150 the last time I checked, and I don't know if they're still in stock, but this is definitely a really cool piece and definitely one that I'm glad I grabbed. I can see myself keeping it in the collection, especially because I do like having little companion knives, travel knives, things of that nature. So, do I recommend the knife? Yes, absolutely. Especially if you really are into modern traditional knives and you like something with walk and talk. But even if you're not, if you like Finch knives or you enjoyed the Rockwell, this is something you might want to seriously take a peek at. They have a bunch of different blade shapes. They have different color micartas. They have full titanium the last time I checked. So there's quite a few options depending on what tickles your fancy. But this is a very recommendable knife, especially at that price point. QSP has done a great job. I've enjoyed the last few transactions I've had with traditional pocket knives, not an affiliate, but their service is really good. They're really responsive to answering questions I've had, and I really do enjoy just the overall experience. And this is a great knife, and I think that the green with the titanium really, to me, is just a banging color combo. Looks really, really good, and man, this is the way that it came. Just looks really weathered, doesn't it? Just all white, weathered, like a denim jeans that you've had for a really long time. Just really, really great. So, and it does have the pull on both sides of the blade, and I do like this spear point because it does allow you to still use it for like draw and utility cuts, and then, you know, it's still really good. I'd never use my thumb for detailed work on something like this. If anything, I will use my thumb to kind of guide whatever I might be working on towards me, and then if I'm push cutting, I make sure to pull that thumb down there because I just don't want to put any pressure on here when you get to the end of a strong cut. If you have it here and you're trying to, you know, use it as a guide or whatnot, I try not to do that just because of the fact that I don't want to accidentally push too hard when I get through the cut like I'm finished with it. So I'm a little bit more cautious and careful with slip joints. If you enjoyed this review, do me a favor, leave a like. Consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Don't forget to turn the notification bell on or check that you still have it on. And if you already do all of that, thanks for your continued support. Leave a comment down below. Did you pick up an Ohio Riverjack? If you didn't, what do you think of the knife? And what do you think about modern traditionals that are slip joints? You got modern materials, modern steels, and modern build qualities on a traditional type of knife. It's really a cool premise because it allows you to kind of have that vintage feel, but you get all the modern quality and all the modern materials that make things today really great. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.